What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Z Got Keys, back at it again with a story. And I'm gonna tell y'all how I landed a $30,000 deal by just jogging around my neighborhood. So, going back 3 years, I was jogging through this street right here, and I came across a for sale by owner at the end of the street. And at this time, this whole lot was literally just wooded trees, grass, and it was just a house sitting right there in the middle of it, just kind of being hidden by these trees. And I ended up calling the for sale by owner sign, and I just had a normal conversation. As you guys see on my YouTube channel, I have a bunch of videos literally calling sellers, and that's how our conversation went. And she talked to me a little bit, and she just wanted me to come see the property, so I scheduled a appointment to come see her next Saturday. And at this point in time, the seller was an older lady, and she was looking to move closer to her grandchildren in Las Vegas. So, you know, it was a big 2,000 square foot house on 7 acres of land, and she had no use for it. You know, she couldn't keep up with the property. She was just looking to downsize, and she had been listing this property for actually about a year before I got to her. She wasn't able to sell it, so it's a perfect opportunity for me as an investor to come in at a lower price because of that. So as we were having the conversation, I literally asked her, I'll never forget, I asked her, hey, listen, I can do this deal, but I'm an investor, I have to make profit too. So what is the best price that you can do for me? You know, I'm your neighbor. I know we haven't spoke a lot, but I'm going to take care of you just as a neighbor should. And at that time, I'll never forget, she had a sheet of paper that she wrote down a bunch of numbers on. She just went to this piece of paper. At the bottom of the paper, she had a number there. She said, 860 is my bottom dollar. And I said, okay. At this time, I didn't know how to value this because it's a 7-acre piece of land. And as you can see, the drone footage will show storage units on the right and storage units to behind us. So it was being built up commercial-wise. So I didn't know how to value commercial at all. And I was just starting my real estate career. I was maybe about 6 to 8 months in after I had gotten my first deal. So I just took the deal. I said, you know what? Let's run with it. I'll do the deal at $860,000. I'll give you $1,000 earnest money, but I need you to give me a year to try to get this sold, because I knew that it would take me quite some time to figure out how to get a deal like this sold. So for about 6 months, I made a ton of calls to my network, and nobody would pick it up because I didn't have anybody that was really into commercial like that. I was just doing residential. So I ended up calling one of my real estate agents, a residential real estate agent, and he referred me to a buddy of his that does commercial out of Dallas. And we ended up talking about the numbers and what we could possibly sell it for. He ended up telling me he thinks he could sell it for $1 million. So I'm in at 860. Real estate agent or real estate broker said I could sell for $1 million. So I'm looking at like $140,000 deal right off the top. So we signed an agreement, and I made sure to be clear with my agent that I was signing this agreement with. Say, hey, if you're gonna market this property, I understand you gotta make a commission. So just to be clear, I'm assigning this contract, right? I'm a middleman. I'm not the seller and I'm not the buyer. So are you taking your commission out of the sales price or my assignment fee? And he said, well, usually we get paid 6% off of the sales price, because in commercial, the seller pays 6% to the broker. And I told him, listen, that's not going to work because I have to make a profit. You know, I'm assigning the deal. So if you're getting a commission off of me, we have to do the commission based off of my assignment fee. So we agreed to that, and we end up signing a contract. Fast forward 3 months, not heard a peep. nothing really moving, no interest, and I get impatient at this point. So we're in total about 8 months into the deal, still got about 2 months left on the contract, and I get impatient, you know. He's asking a bunch of questions, haven't gotten any offers at all. And all of a sudden one day, another broker calls me and says, hey, and this is a local guy, local broker, and I wish I would have peeped the signs to begin with, because this guy has signs all over this area. And had I would have just called this guy from the start, I would have saved myself. So he called me up one day and he says, hey, you know, I talked to the seller on Clear Fork Street, and she says that you have the property under contract, and I have a buyer, and I want to do a deal with you. Are you interested in getting this deal sold? And I got so happy. I jumped up off my couch. I said, yes, dude, I've been waiting for this. When can I come meet you? And he says, you know, come meet me middle of the week. Come meet me on Wednesday, and let's talk about it. Bring your contract, because I want to look at your contract and make sure that it's all good. So boom. So I go to meet this broker, and it's an older gentleman, and I recognize him from the signs that he has literally everywhere in this city. Like, he's one of the biggest brokers in the city. I mean, you can't go anywhere without seeing his signs. So that's sign number one. When you guys are doing commercial deals, look at the developments around you. Look at who's got their signs posted out for these properties that got them for sale, because those guys are local in the neighborhood, and they're gonna be your connects to finding your next buyer for your commercial deal. So he ends up, or we end up meeting, and he says, hey man, so I see that you also got this property listed with another broker. What's going on with that? And I'm like, man, you know, I've signed a contract with this guy, but honestly, we haven't gotten any interest, or we've gotten a little bit of interest, but no bites. I said, hey man, I've been trying to get this deal sold for quite some time now, and you know, is there anything that you can do to help me? He says, yeah, I have a buyer who is a friend of mine that wants to build his RV park here. At the time, he wanted to do RV parks, but he said, would you be interested in negotiating with him? I'll get him on the phone right now, and we can land a deal. And just to be clear, I don't want anything to do with it. You know, you guys go ahead and negotiate a deal, and I won't take a commission. I'm just here helping out a friend. And I'm like, man, this guy is a lifesaver. So we end up getting on the phone with the buyer, and he ends up telling me a little bit about the situation with the property, about the zoning, about the utilities, and how much it's going to cost. You know, just buyer talk, just trying to get me down on price. So I told him I wanted $1 million for it, because that's what we had listed it for. He tells me he can do 920. And at that point, I got excited, because I know, like, boom, I'm in at 860, and I got an offer for 920. I'm sitting at what, $60,000 right now? So I'm excited. But I stick to my guns, and I tell him, no man, I'm sorry, can you at least do 985? And again, he tells me all the buyer things, everything that's wrong with the property. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me know the next day, you know, think about it. Let me know if you can do at least something close to 985. And I said, sure, of course I'll do the deal at 975. So at that point, we meet at Mr. office, who's the broker, the second broker that I did not sign an agreement with, and we get the agreement signed. So fast forward about 2 to 3 weeks or so from closing, I get a call from the first broker that I signed the contract with, and I tell him, hey man, like, I sold this deal, basically, you know, I did it without you. I know we had that agreement, so I'm still going to uphold our agreement at the 6%. So the part that I did not, or that I f***ed up on, is when he gave me that second listing agreement, I just assumed that we were still upholding our first agreement, where his commission would be based on our assignment fee and not the sales price. So when I get that call from my broker about 3 weeks later, I tell him, hey, yeah, we're about to close. Here's the details. Send the agreements to the title company, so that way you guys get your commission, I get mine's, and it's all fine and dandy. And he was excited because he got, he basically got a free deal off of my hard work. And when the title company sends me the HUD, and by the way, if you guys don't know what a HUD is, always check your HUDs before you close. It's a settlement statement that outlines all the details of how all the money is getting dispersed. I saw on that HUD that I'm not making the 110, 15 grand that I was supposed to make. I'm only making 30 grand. And I go, what in the hell is this? So I get heated at this moment, and I call my broker. My broker tells me, hey man, you signed this agreement and it's for 6%, right? That's what we agreed to. And I said, yeah man, it's for 6%. Why am I making 30% of the money that, of the deal that I really brought to the table? And he's like, well, the 6% is on the sales price, not the assignment fee. And I get heated because I tell him, like, dude, we had an agreement. We signed this agreement for 6% of the assignment fee. And he was like, yeah, but when I switched brokers, we don't do deals like that. We have to do it based on the sales price. Did you read the contract? And at that moment, man, dude, I threw a fit. I tried to bite my tongue, and I ended up hanging up the phone because I was about to cuss him out. And I was depressed for literally the entire day. So I ended up calling him back, and I told him, listen man, you know that I'm a new hungry guy, and obviously I made a mistake by signing that contract, and you know as well as I do that we had an agreement for the assignment fee, not the sales price, for your commission to be taken out of that. And he says, yeah man, if I was still with the other brokerage, dude, we would have had that same agreement. We would have went on with that. But right now, I'm not with that other brokerage. I'm with this new brokerage, and I have the upper management that I have to talk to about this. So I feel you, and I want to do more deals with you, but let me go and see what I can do with the upper management, and I'll have my boss call you. So about a week goes by, and man, at this time, dude, I'm fasting. I'm on my hands and knees. I'm praying to my Lord Jesus. I'm like, Lord, please help me to save my 70% of the money that I just threw away by signing a contract that I did not read. And unfortunately, the Lord's got other plans for me, and it's a learning lesson. And when the boss calls me, the big guy, he says, nope, you signed this contract, and we can't negotiate this price or the commission that you signed for, so we're going to get our money and you're going to get yours, and that's the end of that. And that conversation was very cut and dry, and it showed me the cutthroatness of the business and how you really have to be as shrewd as a serpent and as innocent as a dove, as the Bible says, or as Jesus says. So in that, I was depressed for a good 2 to 3 weeks. The first week, man, I was damn near crying, y'all. Like, I had threw away like $80,000. I had a 6-figure deal on the table, and just because I did not read what I was signing, I threw away money. So let that be a lesson to y'all. When you guys are doing any type of business, whether it be a simple whatever it is that y'all do, if y'all have anything that y'all have to sign, read it. Read that mug, because you never know what you're signing. And in this case, it cost me $80,000, but I still walked away with $30,000. So it was a hard learning lesson, but I literally changed the entire landscape of our neighborhood. As you can see, I live 2 doors down, and now we're just surrounded by commercial industrial storage space. which for us is fine because we made money off of it. But I guess it's not so cool for the other neighbors. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned something. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get more stories like this, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.